And I never got to talk to my dad about it, which, like, I don't even know if he understands the full story, but he does now. He
your dad's going to come to you and go, hey, I just found out for years Jim Harbaugh has been saying hi to me. You never passed along that information.
No, yeah, exactly.
I can't believe you would do that.
Yo, what's up? It's Chris Sims. It's Chris Sims Unbuttoned. We are coming from you to from Studio 3 at NBC Sports. My main man, Ahmed Fareed, is here. What's up, buddy? How are you?
Chris? Good to see
Wearing
you.
the logo on his shirt today. Chris
Loud
Sims
and
Unbuttoned,
proud.
Superman guy over here. That's right. We got a good show for you today. We're going to have some fun. Yeah, we're still tinkering with the set, as everybody can see.
Yes.
I mean, look,
It's
we moved some of
changed.
these monitors a little.
Yeah.
That optical illusion that was bothering everybody there is now out of the way a little bit.
You can still see it behind your left shoulder a
but
bit.
It's not as weird with it being centered in the shot. So
No
I'm kind
offense
of
to-
liking this.
Yes, I
I'm
like
liking
this. I think this is an
Right.
improvement. No
Right.
offense to whoever designed that structure. I mean, it's kind of cool. It's different, but I think it was dominating too much of the space behind us.
Yes. Well, this is the first time a desk has been here in this spot.
Yeah.
I don't know if really it was intended for that all the way. When you see us on Football Night in America walking around, and we use these monitors quite a bit, and there's some this is a huge studio, so there's other monitors around as well. But in full disclosure, yeah, you'll see it on Sunday Night Football this year, Football Night in America, and you'll see it, and you're going to go, oh, wait, that looks fine like that. But
Yeah.
when you're here with a tight shot like that, with that structure there, it does do something to the shot where it looks like we're like superimposed
Exactly.
into the screen.
And we'll get into all the football because we always do that, and that's our promise that we make to the homies. But we do have a lively debate going on the YouTube channel.
It's amazing.
And so we love to incorporate the homies in our show because they are quite funny when they make their comments. So Pete and Kristen back there, let's just run through a few of these. I think you have a couple of them. This one is by the numbers 1340. I love the new set, guys. Blew my mind when Ahmed showed the blue protrusion looking thing was actually recessed. That's one of the problems. It is an optical illusion back there.
It is. It definitely is. And in full disclosure, right, I don't even know how you totally feel about this set. Producer Pete Dumalittis, he's not in favor of this right now. He's kind of like okay with it.
Yeah.
But he's Central Park Pete right now. He wants us to move back to Central Park and be where we are. So this is me being a little squeaky in the springtime.
Yeah.
And sometimes, the squeaky wheel gets oiled. So it's a good thing here. But, yeah, you're liking it more than Central Park? What's your official stance here,
it
please?
takes some time to get used to.
Yeah.
I think you have more possibilities here because I think we can put some things in the monitors maybe at some point, not to give Kristen more work and Pete, but I think we can do some stuff, maybe show some things, some segment
to talk
titles.
the plays or something
Maybe.
that we see right here. Right?
Who knows?
Yes, exactly. I mean, when we do Big Butts Award, it'd be like you're almost touching them. You'd be like,
Yeah.
look at his butt.
The
Right?
elephant trophy will be right behind us.
Right.
Pete, is there any other one we want to look at here? It's Higgy. I think a lot of people are going to miss that Central Park and you yelling at people.
So
as
it's
they walk
Shiggy.
by.
It's Shiggy doesn't like it, or she.
Irrational. Did you see that one that we just threw by?
Oh.
I love the old set. This is like a cheap bordello, and I did not know what the term bordello meant.
I didn't really either, Ahmed. I mean, when I first saw this tweet or whatever, I was like, is that like a bad wine?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, right.
I was really thinking like, well, it must be a cheap wine or something.
But it's another word for a brothel.
Right.
Which, in fairness, a brothel, I didn't think it needed another word. I feel like that
was enough.
That's
right?
enough. They
And
got its word.
I don't know. Again, I'm not frequent at brothels, but I've seen them on TV and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of them have hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of screens behind them. I
Exactly.
don't
That
know. What
was
kind
our-
of brothel is this and who is in there?
Pete's argument was the same. It's like at least we're an expensive brothel.
At
Like
least
we're
we
not
are.
a cheap brothel.
I
This
would
is-
say
would be
the
an
other
expensive one.
set was more brothel, like people just walking around. We had like a see-through desk where you could see our feet and our shoes. It was
Yes.
a little cheapish looking. So maybe I don't totally agree with irrational. Maybe you're irrational with your thought.
Well, exactly. So there's a lot of change. We're changing the set. This is still a work in progress. Pete's not totally happy yet, and so we had like seven guys out here, including Pops, trying to figure this out. And so we'll get this. There is changes coming on the pod. I won't be here as much in the future. You're going to have a cast of characters that will come through as well. So we wanted to also alert the homies that there's potentially more change coming.
Yeah, sad time because you're my
Yeah.
buddy. We've been doing this for a long time. We have a
know.
good rapport, right?
Yep.
You're the total professional. But because of that, you continue to get more jobs at NBC Sports.
They fill up my schedule.
Between NBA and now you're doing college football, there's only so much you can do. So, yeah, we're going to try to figure something out here to see who can come in, help me out, host the show. And the first person we're going to do is Stu Gatz, right? From Le Batard and Stu Gatz. I go on their podcast quite often called God Bless Football and do that. Stu Gatz, as you know, and a lot of people that out there that do know him, and if you don't, great personality, strong voice, loves sports. He's a little quirky and funny and is going to bring up some things sometimes that you might not be thinking about in sports. So I'm excited for that. And we'll see. I think next Monday and Wednesday, it'll be Chris Sims Unbuttoned with Stu Gatz, and we'll see if the homies like that. Hopefully they like it more than our new set here.
And I'm still in the building. I will still be on from time to time. I know that's going to happen too. But no, I've told you this many times. It's like as much fun as I have doing anything here and coming talking football. I've learned so much from you, and so still going to be a viewer. Work together on college football.
We're going to have a blast. I just won't be able to swear or embarrass you quite as often. I won't be kissing your feet. We won't be talking about your sweaty pits or anything like that, or your red pants.
We will. Right? We'll see my pants on college football. And here's the thing too. It's like there have been shows where I have missed. I wasn't able to be here, and you filled in with Devin. And there's those shows where you have no host whatsoever, and I'm like, gosh dang it, those shows are pretty good. And so I appreciate
that, man.
So you really can do it all, and so I'm excited to see it. But before we get to them, let's not fast forward, because we got things.
We got stuff to talk about. And like to your point about the monitors behind us, I do want to see. I saw Dr. Nick Riviera, right?
Yeah, okay.
He was sitting there going, the new set background should be the photo of Raymond James Stadium.
Oh yeah,
with the pirate ship. Right, we can have fun.
We could do
that. Right.
Yes.
Right. We could have fun. Whatever game we're talking about, we could bring the stadium behind us. We're gonna have fun with this. This is top notch.
Speaking of that,
technology.
Kristen,
right here.
Put Raymond James Stadium back there real quick. Can you do that?
Hurry up.
Yeah, she's cursing me out.
Get that pirate ship ready, and that thing I threw the football through one time in a playoff game.
A world of possibilities here. All right, let's move on now to preseason week number 1 as I transition to the actual football talking part of the program. So we've got the Lions and Chargers. We already talked about that. We saw a couple teams in action, which is cool. Everyone else gets in action this week. And the plan for some of these teams is what the big story is, specifically with the first team that you want to talk about here. And that is the Cincinnati Bengals. You have talked ad nauseum on the slow starts. Everyone has, and it's been obvious, right? It's the 0-1, 0-2, 0-3 starts, and the offense takes a little while. Joe Burrow, like a majority of his interceptions, it seems like, comes early on.
Definitely, right.
They are changing their strategy. Zach Taylor and company going to play Joe Burrow preseason week number 1. Sounds like they may even play some snaps as the preseason goes on in game number 2. TBD on that, but your reaction when you heard the Bengals kind of shifting their philosophy?
Well, I like it. Of course I like it, right? I mean, they're one that I feel like is a team that wasn't like hitting on all cylinders when a season started. I mean, even the years they went to the Super Bowl and the AFC Championship game, right, and lost to the Chiefs and the Rams in the Super Bowl, they didn't even start off great those years either. This has been a real issue. So, yeah, I like to hear that. The other thing, too, is this is not necessarily like a huge veteran team that we go, well, they've been to the Super Bowl a bunch of times and they got a bunch of old guys. They know how to play. No, I mean, they're not. Joe Burrow, Trey Hendrickson, they're some of the oldest guys on the football team, right? That's it. But there's a lot of other young guys there. And I felt like not only have they not been hitting on all cylinders to start a year the last few years, the other part of it, and we've discussed this at length too, is I feel like they've been a little too basic to start seasons, right? Where we've gone like, hey, this is still like the beginner's part of the playbook. And then all of a sudden we get to week 5 and week 6 where they start to get desperate. They got to win games. Things open up and you go, oh my God, where was this offense to start? Why weren't we desperate in week 1 to do this? Not everybody's the same, right? They're not. And, I watched quarterback this last year with Netflix, right?
Yeah.
And I just got done like last week. And Joe Burrow, at the end of the year, he's kind of like talking like, man, I wish this year wouldn't end. I just feel like I'm just keep going. I'm going. Well, the goal would be to kind of feel like that early in the year, right? That would be the goal. And some players are different. Some players don't need a lot of game reps and can still go out and play in the game and be comfortable. I can tell you, I was a guy that needed game reps. If I didn't get game reps, I would get out there in the real game, and I was just antsy. I didn't feel comfortable. Oh, gosh, are they going to hit me? I wasn't used to all the chaos around me. And I think that's what game reps can do for a quarterback, at least right off the bat, is just get you into a part of like, hey, the clock in your head, the moving in the pocket, we talk about sometimes when you're in the pocket as a quarterback, it's a series of snapshots. It's not like it's a slow motion movie. You get to see Jamar Chase, and then somebody's in your face, and then you're like, oh, I see him again, and then he's going to disappear again. And there's some nuance to that, right? So I think it's, of course, important to them. They're going to have to rely on the offense as it looks. We don't expect their defense to hit the ground being one of the top defenses in football, right? And I do think we're getting into an era here where I think we're going to see teams play guys a little bit more in the preseason because of the rules, the lack of being able to play full speed football all the time, wearing full pads in training camp, where I'm not saying you're going to see the starters play 10 series or anything, but I think you're going to see a little more concerted effort throughout the league to go, this is one of our few opportunities to let guys tackle, hit, really play football. We got to take advantage of that, and we've seen some successful teams do that. Like the Kansas City Chiefs who do it every year. And, good to see the Bengals do that as well.
I think you have some coaches who probably think, or I know who they think, that you can simulate enough of that game environment in either your practice or the joint practices, which are full contact a lot of times, and the starters play a lot more in that than they do in the preseason game. You don't think that's possible. There's too much that goes on in an actual game with the refs and the fans and the lights.
I do. I think so. And also I think that sometimes in those practices and stuff, things are basic too. Like the defenses aren't quite game planning and doing crazy stuff to where now you get out in the game and it's like, things are a little different here. I don't know what to expect, right? So I think there is that aspect as far as going into it that way too. I was going to bring up another point too about what you said there.
Able to simulate the game environment.
It's hard to simulate, and especially for the quarterback. I think that's the biggest thing. Right? Because the quarterback still, even in those scrimmages and stuff like that, where you go, okay, great, I still know I can pat the ball in extra time and get a completion and go, oh, look, I got the completion. When in reality, if that was a real game, I don't know, I might have got hit, strip sacked, and fumbled, and I'm not sure if that's really the way it would have gone down. And so, I think that's hard to simulate. I was in a year where John Gruden took that approach. It was the year I lost my spleen, and I didn't start off the season well. We weren't an incredibly deep team, and I think he was worried, man, 1 or 2 injuries to our team, and we're in trouble, right, on the offensive side of the ball. And I think he looked at it like, I'm just going to practice them really hard and try to do it that way. But I know when I got in preseason game number 4 just a little bit, I was not comfortable. And then in week 1, we had to play the Ravens, and that still continued, right? So I think you also have to depend on your team. We've seen the Rams not play their starters. The Rams have generally been a little bit of an older, mature team too, right? So it's worked out for them a lot of years. Stafford's played a lot of years. Cooper Kupp was there, right? I mean, Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, they had guys that were kind of like, hey, they're pros. They know how to play. We don't need to, they got a lot of experience. I'm not sure we need to play them a lot in the preseason here, right? So they're one of those few teams that's like that. That's a little bit of the West Coast way a little bit altogether. But no, I'm still about, iron sharpens iron. You got to get out there and play a little bit to get used to being in football shape and football toughness a little bit.
We'll get to see Cam Ward play for the Titans because we found out that the Titans plan to play Cam Ward and other starters in all 3 preseason games. This is their championship. They're like, we don't have a chance at a regular season division title. We're going to win the preseason.
Well, you got a rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
It's a huge year for Brian Callahan because I think, another year like they had last year, and he's on the hot seat and he gets fired, right? Nobody's going to go like, well, you went 4-13, but you had a rookie quarterback, right? Nobody gives a shit about that anymore. So I think he realizes, hey, rookie quarterback or not, we have to show improvement here. And I got to get my quarterback used to playing football. Plus, he's a guy that came from Cincinnati who's probably seen a little bit like, damn, that crap ain't working. And we did that a little last year, and that crap didn't work either. So I got to change my approach here. And this is, again, where I would say, in a lot of key positions, it's a little bit of a younger football team. So he wants to get them out there, get them ready, and make them competitive right off the bat.
So then you have the flip side of it. You already talked about Sean McVay.
Yeah.
The Seahawks have said that they will not play most of their starters Thursday versus the Raiders. And now this is a Seahawks team with Sam Darnold, new quarterback, trying to get some flow here. Agree or disagree with this decision?
Yeah, I mean, this is a good discussion in – when do you want to play your guys in the preseason?
Yeah.
Right? There's, I think, a thought of, hey, let's play him early in case somebody does sprain an ankle or whatever. Now they have that time to recover and be ready for week 1, right?
Yep.
I think there's the logic there. Then there's the logic of, I'd like my guys to get another week of practice and just be a little bit more in shape and in football shape and ready to go that way. And I'll wait till preseason game number 2 to where I feel like, we're closer to the functioning at a high level and we could have put a good product out there, right?
Sure.
I think if I was a coach, I would be a little bit of, I think, old school, where I'd be like, hey, first game, I don't want my starters, get out there, series, maybe 2. Second game, I'd probably ramp it up just a little bit more. Go double. Yeah, right. And third game, I would go back to like, no, we're gonna play another, maybe a little more than the first game, maybe not as much as the second game, but we're gonna play. And we're going to be ready to play football when the season starts. I mean, I think there's a reason we've seen an uptick in injuries in September and an uptick in sloppy football play in September. I think it's a lot to do with these lack of practice rules and all of that. So I'm old school that way. But like we look at a team here in recent history, the Chiefs, they play their guys week 1 in the preseason. I mean, every year I can remember, right? Yeah. They do it. And then maybe not play in preseason game number 2 and maybe just play a little bit in 3, or maybe not play at all and just do preseason game number 1. But again, I think there is value into playing in those games. And we even saw the Patriots and Tom Brady, maybe not at the end, he didn't play a lot, but in the prime there, they would play in the preseason and be ready to go for week 1. So yeah, I'm a one that believes in getting and taking advantage of those opportunities.
So outside of just getting out there and getting acclimated, taking your first hits, you're not necessarily going to run your playbook.
No, you're
right?
not.
You're not going to show. You don't want to show that much.
No, you don't.
So you don't get the value of like, all right, here's the plays that we're going to be running in the season. Let's run a lot of them.
No, you're not
going
to
get
those
in the
schematical
preseason.
advantages. No, you're really just trying to get, like, let's get to the basics and let's make sure some of our core plays, we know how to execute those on both sides of the ball at a really high level, right? And I think that's really what you want. And also into that, again, most of these times, these running backs, they haven't been taken to the ground yet. They haven't done that. It's one of the reasons I think the Chargers played Omarion Hampton last week. They're like, we're going to ride this guy this year. He's got to get used to, like, taking some hits, what the speed of the game is going to be like, right? So I think that's the beauty of that. Seattle, I look at them on the defensive side of the ball with the Seahawks, and just back to that. One, they got some veterans on the defensive side of the ball. I could see that. And the other thing that maybe they're playing into this, and this is also where you got to gauge your team. Offensive line's got some new parts and some new pieces there. Maybe they don't feel like they're functioning quite as the level they want yet. So they're like, hey, let's not put Sam Darnold or Kenneth Walker out there with that yet. Let us hunker down and get this group good first before we throw them out there. And that might be the same with the defense. He might have practiced them hard early in training camp. Maybe they have been hitting a little bit. And he's going, you know what? I'm going to give these guys another week to where next week then we can come in and they can really, go all out in a preseason game 2 for a few series.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of fascinating because I've said last year, these joint practices sometimes, they should just sell tickets to the joint practices because they're more of a show than the preseason game. Of course, you get the guys trying to make the roster, but some of those joint practices, all the starters are playing toe-to-toe. Going against each other.
That's the beauty of it. It's a little more of a controlled environment.
Yeah.
That's it's a new team. It's some fresh blood. It's not our guys that we're banging heads against.
But you can control it. You're like, hey, I want to do a row of third
exactly.
longs,
I talk to this coach, and you go, let's just do third down the whole last period of practice.
What if we just redid the preseason and just made that?
Yeah, I
mean, like a blue-white scrimmage
I wouldn't
that they
be
do in
shocked
college.
if it goes that way. I mean, I think with how they want to add maybe another 18th game to the season, and they want to condense the preseason to that, to where. Yeah, I think you're going to see value in these practices. The other thing, the problem with these practices, though, like we've seen too, is it's become a lot of fights in years past and things like that, to where I feel like the coaches are doing their best to curtail that and kind of slow that down. But, that is a part of it that sometimes gets a little ugly. We've seen that with the Rams and the Cowboys and some of those ones out there.
Now I'm just riffing now because what is the value when you have like a game we had with the Lions and Chargers? You get to the third and fourth quarter. How many of these guys are legitimately competing to make the team? Like, how much value are you getting from the third and fourth quarter of some of these preseason games?
Yeah, very little. Yeah. Very little. You're hoping in the third and fourth quarter of those type of games that, you're just letting some of your younger players develop a little bit, some of the new guys there.
But even some of the rookies are like, we're not playing some of our rookies that were
they're not going to play the top rookies
Right.
probably late in the football game. But, it's really, I think, the only people it truly benefits there is maybe 3 or 4 guys on the whole team where they're going like, damn, we're not sure. We know our 48 out of the 53 guys we're going to keep, right? Yeah. But we got 5 spots left, and there's like 8 or 9 guys up for that 5 spots. Those are the guys where that third and fourth quarter means something, right? And that's where they're the ones kind of being evaluated or looked at to where it's like when it comes time to cut, it's like, hey, look at what he did in those games with the third stringers, blah, blah, blah. He was more physical. We can count on him to tackle. I think that's where there's value in that a little bit.
I always got fooled growing up because there was guys that would go off in preseason games, the second half, running back up. Hey, look at this guy. Well, and season would go on. Whatever happened to that?
The old days, really were my dad – he'll tell you, for years they played, I think, the Jets in the preseason game number 3, and it was like full-fledged game. My dad will tell you some of the biggest beatings he ever took were from the Jets and Mark Gastineau and Joe Klecko, right, in the sack exchange of the Jets.
You would be able to tell no difference between preseason game number 3 and game number 1 of the
They won the
season.
Super Bowl 21. The next year it was preseason game number 4. I remember preseason game number 4, I was crying in my bedroom because they were losing the Steelers, and I was like, they're not going to be any good. They're losing to those Steelers. And my dad was in the game with like 3 minutes left in preseason game number 4 against the Steelers in 1987, right? So that's where it's a little different. I think we've swayed too far the other way now to where I think you're going to see some of these coaches go, hey, we got to play a little bit more so we can be a little bit better functioning team come September.
All right, we'll see. We'll see if it works for the Bengals and some of the other teams out there. We got to take a break. When we come back, we're going to take hey, this is why
we're bringing in Stu Gotts. You're out of here.
We're not taking a break. I thought it was a natural spot for a break. Hey, Pete, you could have just gone with it.
It did feel natural.
Now Pete feels bad. He goes, hey, you know what? Let's take a break.
Yeah.
We should take a break. You know what? Thank you, Pete. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the Achilles heels for some of these contenders, both in the AFC and the NFC. If something's going to go wrong, what is it that's going to go wrong for these teams, and how can we fix it? That's coming up next. NBC Sports Now is our free 24/7 streaming channel. You can get NFL news, all the biggest stories in sports, starting at 7 a.m. with PFT Live, The Dan Patrick Show, The Dan Le Batard Show with Stu Gotts, Fantasy Football Happy Hour with Matthew Berry, Chris Sims Unbuttoned. Just go to NBCSports.com/now, and you can be entertained all day and all night long. We will now entertain you with Contender Achilles heels, and so the idea of this segment is there are the teams that we think are in the Super Bowl window, playoff window. You talked about that with Devin and Rodney last week. But they all have something where, things could go wrong. Yeah. It could be ominous if this is not shored up or if they're not able to figure something out. And so we're going to go through all the teams. You're going to give us the number one thing that you think is an Achilles heel. And I will give you the freeway or the leeway to do 2 if you really want to do 2.
Well, you know me. I'll probably have 2 and a lot go, well, this, but I also this, right?
And then I'll have to go, if you were to pick 1, though.
Right, exactly. I know. These are tough, but I feel like I got it pretty much narrowed down to one thing with most of these teams, where I'll throw in a little inkling of other things here and there to finish out the conversation.
Got it. All right, so we'll start in the AFC, and we'll start with the Chiefs. And so the idea here, if this team comes up short this season, it is because of blank. We start with the Kansas City Chiefs.
The blank is just, can they climb the mountain again? That's my biggest Achilles heel. You've heard me say it. All these years where you've heard me tout the Chiefs, they're amazing, blah, blah, blah. I've almost been one of those guys like Chiefs over the field almost every year since Mahomes has taken over. I feel like this is the year where it catches up to them. One, because of their division, like we talked about, the conference in general, the AFC. The way they played in the Super Bowl, I think, it was deflating, right? Some aging superstars. I again, just to do all of that again, in my heart of hearts, I don't think they will be back in the AFC Championship game this year. That's what I'm expecting, right? So that, to me, is the biggest thing. The mental, physical hurdle of getting back to the mountaintop while everybody is hungry and we got some big-time players in the division. But here's another aspect just on the field. Yeah. Right? Difference makers in their front, right? difference makers in their front seven, okay? George Karlaftis is very good, okay? And then you got Chris Jones after that, who's the second, guy there, and really the main guy. He's the household name. But to me, Chris Jones was not as dominant last year as he was in years past. He's not. I don't think we've hit a spot here now where I go, I don't think Chris Jones is getting better anymore. He's still really good, but he's plateauing or going towards the down spot of his career, right? I just worry about them, and like we saw in the Super Bowl, right? Did any defensive lineman really show up in the game? Really? I mean, they had to put a lot of extra people in the box and basically play cover zero with no help on their corners and all of that to stop the run game.
Yeah.
And why is that? Because of lack of size, lack of playmakers, whatever else on that side. Chris Jones, yes, he's gotten to a point here where it's getting up there in age. Mike Pennell's been around for a while. Mike Dana is a good player. Again, really good. But we're talking about Super Bowl contender, they're going to win the Super Bowl, that type of team. No, I don't think there's quite the talent on that front that I see in some other teams, right?
They did use a lot of their draft picks, a second-round pick, a third-round pick, a fifth-round pick, and guys in the front seven.
They know. And this was, again, Chris Jones is still the man, but not the man to where he was up the play every other play like we talked about for years and years on this podcast, right? And Karlaftis is better than people realize, but still – I'm not going to put him in the category of some of the top pass rushers in football, right? That's the big thing. So that to me is the that and the climbing the hill again or the mountain is tough
I think
there.
The easy answer would have been protecting Patrick Mahomes after what we saw in the Super Bowl, but you don't think that rises to the level of number one.
I don't think it rises to, and I think that they literally a shamrock and a horseshoe up their ass with Josh Simmons falling to them at the end of round one, right? And then you hear the reports of what they're talking about there. And I guess my other thing is I have faith in Andy Reid that he'll fix these issues out for Patrick Mahomes. He knows that was not a fair environment for him to be successful in the Super Bowl or anything like that. So, yeah, again, I'll be watching that, but that's not my main concern. It's not.
Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl window. They got Josh Allen going for him. What's the Achilles heel, though?
Yeah, well, the Buffalo Bills have so many good things about their team in general. It's hard to look at the offensive side of the ball and really go, oh, there's something here I worry about. I'm going to say this. I've been saying it. You've heard me say it, and I don't think it really changes again. I still don't think there's a difference-making defensive player for the Buffalo Bills. I'm putting the whole defense. I know, again, maybe Joey Bosa can be that. I know Matt Milano's awesome. I don't mean to say it disrespectfully, but tell me the last time there was a big game and we went, oh, the defense did awesome and made it happen. Tell me when that is. Tell me the last time there was a big game and we went, ooh, that guy took over and made a big play, like Chris Jones has in Super Bowls and batting footballs down, or Trent McDuffie has, or an Aaron Donald has in a big moment to sack Joe Burrow to finish the football game, right? Or like we saw Von Miller on the Broncos those years, right? There's none of that. I just would like I don't think people realize that. A lot of these other great quarterbacks who have gotten to the promised land, they've had moments in playoffs where they haven't lit up the scoreboard, and the defense comes through and makes plays, and then we forget about it, and then they get to the Super Bowl, and we go, look, that quarterback won the Super Bowl. He's awesome, right? I mean, you could say that about the Eagles a little bit last year. So that's where, I still look at that as being a little bit of an Achilles heel for the Buffalo Bills. I like their team. Don't get me wrong. I like the D. But do I sit there and go, that's a Super Bowl D? No, I don't. I think it's a Super Bowl that you just hope the D can be good enough to get them there and hang in there. But you heard my concerns with the Ravens game last year. We've talked about it. We've joked about it. They never stopped the Ravens one time in that game. Never. The Ravens stopped the Ravens. That's what they did. So that's still a big concern for me with the Buffalo Bills.
Because the offense was so good last year for Buffalo, it will be hard for them to replicate that. Even if you like their talent even a little better or the same. It does seem like the defense will need to step up for them.
It does.
Just because they were so good last year.
And to that, hopefully they can play more man-to-man on a consistent basis. I think that will free them up and allow them to do some maybe other creative things, and I think that's why they drafted Maxwell Harrison in the first round, and you got Christian Benford, who's a damn good corner over there, and I think that's an aspect that I've talked about, right? That's one of the reasons they're not as good either. They can't play man-to-man against some of the elite offenses in football because they haven't had those cover guys to do that. So McDermott's always had to come up with a way to go, hey, well, I got to play this creative zone, or I got to play the percentages. I think you're going to do this, so I'm going to drop a bunch of people over here, right? And that's just hard to do against the great offenses and great quarterbacks in football all the time. So that's what I would say there.
I get it. All right, Lamar Jackson is a quarterback who has had the benefit of a good defense throughout his career. The Achilles heel for the Ravens. Let me throw one here and see if you agree or disagree.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Derrick Henry. He was so good. And, defied logic with it, what is he, 31 now or whatever?
Yeah, it's up there.
If he takes a step back, it kind of screws up a lot of the things they like to do on the offensive side of the ball.
I get you there, but I'm not going to say that because I still think it's going to be good enough to where we're going to go, damn, they're still dominant, right? O-line's big, the threat of Lamar running, right? And we saw Derrick Henry. Yeah, I don't know if it's all going to line up the way there, but he was still good last year.
Yeah.
Damn, he could still run for long touchdowns, which is amazing, right? When I look at them, I think the thing I go is third receiver a little bit, right? Like Rashad Bateman's dealt with injuries throughout his career. If he gets hurt, are we really is going to be DeAndre Hopkins and Zay Flowers? That's what I worry about a little, okay? But I still will go with, I think, the pass rush. I do. I think I'm going to go there. Now, you talked about Lamar and all that, and they got to believe they can get over the hump and play better football in the playoffs and all that. To me, one of the biggest storylines is, I was going to say this on Football Night in America, but the show got long and the segment got cut out. One of the biggest storylines in all of football to me this year is that Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson have yet to be to a Super Bowl. They are two of the best quarterbacks in the history of the game. For my money, they're as good as it gets. You'd have a hard time. I put them up there with anybody. They can do it all on the field, right? But they've yet to even be to the big game. And this is a quarterback league where we know the rules are favored for the offense and all that. For them not to be there, I think is a big story. So we'll see where that goes. But that third receiver, but still, I still look at it, and I know it got better. And this is where you wonder if our guy from Marshall, who fell to them in the second round, Mike Green, right?
Oh, yeah.
If he can maybe pop out and be that pass rusher. But if the Ravens can be that team that can get to you just with their front four, and now they can be real creative in the back end. Yeah, I think it's just the pass rusher is the only thing I look at. If they can get the pass rusher or one good pass rusher and one pretty good pass rusher on the other edge there, then I would go, damn, the Ravens are going to be just about impossible to stop because now they don't have to worry about compromising secondary or blitzing to do stuff like that.
So you have gone defensive line with the Chiefs. You have gone
crazy.
Defensive difference maker with the Bills, and now you have gone pass rush with the Ravens.
I know.
Keep that going with the Houston Texans, another team that had an issue like the Chiefs in the Super Bowl of protecting their quarterback.
Yeah, exactly right.
An issue is understating it.
It is understating it. And I'm not going to be going defense here with this one, okay? Their defense, their pass rusher, their defense will be one of the top in football. I will be shocked if it's not top 5, right? That's how good I think that group is right there. I think there's, the thing you look at is a little bit like I just said with the Ravens, the third receiver, okay, maybe. Right, you got Nico Collins, you got Christian Kirk. Who is that other guy? Which one of those Iowa State guys maybe pops out? But that's not my overall concern. I think when you get down to it, yeah, the Achilles heel is going to be that offensive line and pass protection. It's just unknown right now. I have faith they'll get it right. But yeah, we got new pieces there.
Cam Robinson,
right?
Laken Tomlinson,
exactly. Jared Patterson at center.
Yep.
Titus Howard at right guard, who's very good.
And Deontay Ursery, the rookie out of Minnesota, Gopher.
The guy I said you better watch out for, he's a starting tackle in the NFL, right? I think we made him our 4th or 5th tackle or offensive lineman in this process. He's made for it.
Got him in the second round.
So yeah,
good value.
He's a player. He's a player. But I think that's what it is. And it's more than just about the O-line because I have faith in – I know too many people down there and Nick Caserio and other people that are working behind the scenes with him. that they do their homework and their due diligence on these guys. So it goes beyond just the players. It's also about, as we talked about during the year, can Nick Caley get the scheme to make sense and also get C.J. Stroud to be more of a general at the line of scrimmage and really be involved in the pass protection, which I know he's capable of. And that's where they were doing him a disservice. So, yeah, I'm going to say the pass protection, but it's almost like schematically and physically. It's a little bit of both right there that I would look at.
I mean, as opposed to putting things like extra things on C.J. Stroud's plate, you really do believe that if a quarterback is in charge of pass protection and knows more about it, it makes his life easier.
It does. Actually. It does. It does. It's just going to raise your game. It's going to make you more comfortable.
Yeah.
Like when you don't know, and I played with like the Tennessee Titans a little bit who did this. We had Kevin Mawai at center, and he was awesome, and he make the calls, right? But sometimes he's making the calls and whatever else, and you might be looking at a receiver and moving them or whatever, and you're like, oh, set hut, and you go, wait, I'm not exactly sure what the hell he said in the protection. You drop back, and you're going, damn, I'm not exactly sure if I'm hot or not, right? This gives you total control. You feel like, hey, I'm the man. I'm in this. I'm making these decisions. Brady, Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, there's a reason you see him do all this. Because when you're on the same page that way, again, now the quarterback's not going to be fooled. They're going, oh, gosh, I thought he made that guy the mic over there. I thought he was blocked, right? So, oh, wait, now I know what to expect, which the ripple effect is, okay, I feel comfortable in my brain. And also now I know what to expect to where if I get something else, I have a plan in my head for a plan B that I got to do to get out of jail here and make something happen, right? And I think when you don't know that, you could be dropping back like, hey, coach told me not to worry all week in this formation. The center's got it. I got it. Oh, I got sacked. We fumbled? Really? Well, they brought that blitz, and the coach goes, well, CJ, you didn't see it? No, coach, you told me the center's got it all week. Sorry, don't try to blame me now that the TV's on and it's a big moment, right? Yeah. And that's where I think it'll really help CJ Stroud in that offense.
All right, hopefully they can fix it because, this is a team that you think sneaky. Super Bowl contender. I do. Super Bowl window, perhaps.
People blaming C.J. Stroud too much, and I think people are maybe overreacting to the O-line stuff just a little bit, right?
Chargers were a surprise playoff team last year. Pretty good in Jim Harbaugh's first year. Their Achilles heel this year.
Well, I think it's right now is they're another team that I would sit here and go, as we sit here, I'd go, they could use another difference maker on their D-line. Right, they're another team here, which again, I didn't intend to say D line so much or front seven, but for the sake of maybe changing it up, or not even changing it up, because I think this is a close call, is just emergence of receiver other than Ladd McConkey. Right, that's the thing. That's the unknown about them right now. That's everything we're talking about. That Justin Herbert. Yeah, I know Justin Herbert's got a few flaws, but it ain't many. I mean, just about every team in football would sign up for Justin Herbert to be their starting quarterback, except for like 5 or 6 of them, right? So he's awesome. And some of the things we talk about with Justin Herbert are the problem. I want to go like, wait, so who on their roster last year did you think was supposed to get open, that they were supposed to be just torching the Houston Texans in one of the best secondaries in football, right?
Yeah.
Realistically. So that emergence of either Trey Harris or Keandre Lambert-Smith or Keenan Allen now that he's added it.
That's the new news, right?
Quentin
1
Johnson.
Year, $8.5 million for Keenan Allen. Yeah. And then you got Quentin Johnston as well there. So now all of a sudden with, what is it, KLS?
Yeah, KLS.
Keandre Lambert-Smith, and Trey Harris, and now Keenan Allen. Yeah, what do you make of Keenan Allen coming back?
I like this. I told Florio this today. I had a long conversation about this with Matthew Perry at the Hall of Fame last week because we were in the car and he looked at me and he was like, why isn't Keenan Allen signed yet? He's not washed, is he, Sims? And I was like, no, he is not washed. Yeah. He's still a good player. He's a great slot receiver that can be really good for a quarterback like Justin Herbert because you're going to be able to trust him. He's going to run unbelievable routes, and he can read coverage and do all that type of stuff. Big plays, stuff like that, that's not going to be what he does anymore, right? And I think the reason he was on the street this long was, he was making $20 million a year. A lot of these guys, I think, and this is what I said to Matthew Berry last week, I was like, I think they get done with a year like that, and they go, okay, I'll sign with somebody for 14 or 15. Wait, nobody wants to give me that? What? Oh, what? I'm going to have to take 9, 8? What? Right? So there's an adjustment period there. Plus, with guys like that, teams a lot of the time go, wait, we got some young guys. Let's see if they can maybe be something so we don't have to pay an extra $9 million to a veteran guy, right? But I think they went away with this going, okay, Mike Williams retired. Quentin Johnston's on the right track, but we're not sure. Trey Harris, rookie. We like what we see. Kendre Lambert, we really like what we see, but we're still a rookie, right? So you got to have a guy there that can, hey, it's 3rd and 4, right? They're doubling Ladd McConkey because we throw him the ball a lot. Who's the other guy I can trust on the offense to make the right decision on coverage and break the right way so Justin Herbert can hit him? And that's where Keenan Allen, I think, is going to come in through in a big way there.
Yeah, you would be hard-pressed to see any other team or find any other team that improved their wide receiver room more than the Chargers. It seems like with a couple of rookies.
It's up there. Yeah, it's up there. And I mean, they're hopeful. That's for sure, too. I mean, you know that just like I told you on Monday, talking to them and everything there. And they're impressive looking. Seeing KLS, seeing Trey Harris, seeing Quentin Johnston, you look at them and you go, wow, they look the part, right? But it's the unknown. O-line, run game going to be good. The other thing, like I said, is just the D-line. Is there enough players on that D-line that can disrupt the game, go above and beyond, what the coach says and plays up and really take over? I don't know if they have that. Those are my concerns with them.
But overall, on the field, they're starting to look the part of a team that's progressing in the right direction here. As is Bo Nix of the Denver Broncos. At least if you listen to Sean Payton talk about him, says he's taken a huge step forward. Knows more about the offense this year than he did last year. What do you think about the Denver Broncos when you look at them?
Did we talk about this on Monday at all? The Broncos? I don't think we did.
I don't think we did.
Yeah.
No.
Sean Payton saying he thinks they're a Super Bowl team. That's a strong comment. I mean, that's a strong comment. But Sean Payton doesn't say that unless he thinks it, right? Mm-hmm. And I think they're a team that's kind of young that they probably don't even realize they're capable of that because you don't usually hear coaches say that type of stuff.
No.
So to me, with a Sean Payton, he's kind of like, wait, you guys are a little green between the ears. You don't realize you're actually good. Yeah. Like, don't sell yourself short here. Let's make the goal and the priority very high because we can have a say in this. Mm-hmm. Well, again, there's not much to look at with their defense. They're another team you just go, well, what? What do you want to talk about? It's awesome, and it's awesome at all 3 levels for the most part. Offensively, I think it's real damn good. I think their thing to me, though, will be a little bit like what we just talked about with the Chargers. Maybe not quite to the same extent, but who is going to be the guy other than Courtland Sutton that we can sit here and go, hey, Courtland – Sauce Gardner's guarding him today. It's trouble. And when Sauce Gardner's guarding, sometimes they're double teaming him still. Mm-hmm. Who's the other guy we can go to and depend on to make big plays for us on a regular basis? I think that's going to be one of the things I got to see. That, to me, will take them to the next level. I mean, receivers last year, who was their second leading receiver? Ooh. Marvin Mims at 500 yards, right? And he only had, I think, was it something in the 30s? So here it is, 39 catches. So, yeah, if they want to go to the Super Bowl, it's got to be somebody. Courtland Sutton, 81 catches. It's got to be somebody else that can jump up in there and be part of that conversation. Yeah. Second in their team last year in receptions was Javonte Williams, right? Am I right about that? I believe so. And that's
no longer on the team.
He's no longer on the team, and that's a running back. So that just tells you. So that, to me, is the thing to watch out for with them. There's got to be somebody else.
Yeah, Evan Ingram comes over.
That'll help.
R.J. Harvey a lot.
Ooh,
they got him in the second round, the running back out of UCF.
Yep.
They got J.K. Dobbins, and so there are some new bodies and new potential guys.
There's a Super Bowl defense. The quarterback looks like he could be a Super Bowl quarterback. We know the coach is a Super Bowl play caller. All of that. It's just about, yes, can their offense become a Super Bowl offense? Right? And that's what we'll see. Does Bo Nix take that next step? And again, does one of those receivers, along with like Evan Ingram, which I think is one of the more under-the-radar, really good signings of the offseason, he will be dangerous, but they need one of those receivers to step up too.
Maybe one of the biggest stories, if this team actually did go to the Super Bowl this year, would be the Pittsburgh Steelers with Aaron Rodgers, perhaps his swan song. Final season goes off into the sunset with a Super Bowl. But if that is going to happen, they need to avoid the Achilles heels,
Yeah.
what would that be for the Pittsburgh?
I think the Achilles heel is just Rodgers, Arthur Smith offensive philosophy meshing. Does that mesh? Does it come together? Right? Can they get Rodgers to stand in the pocket and throw the ball down the football field? Can they get Rodgers to feel good about, hey, your completion percentage might not be 70% every game with our team, right? We're not going to just let you dink and dunk so you can say, oh, look, I have the greatest completion percentage and interception to touchdown ratio ever in the history of football. That, to me, is the Achilles heel. I look at them, hey, they're aging in the front a little bit, but not really. Their defensive backfield got better. I mean, there's hard to look at their defense and come up with too many issues, right? Mm-hmm. Offensively, I think their O-line could really surprise some people here this year. So I look at that and go, that's good. Hey, Caleb Johnson, he could be one of those guys that surprises people as far as running the football, and I know he's gotten some rave reviews up there already. So, yeah, it's the passing game with Rodgers and Arthur Smith, and I think within that, I say the passing game because, after DK Metcalf, the next receivers are Robert Woods and Calvin Austin III that aren't exactly going to be like, oh my God, it's the greatest trio in the history of football, right? But I think it's that mesh of Rodgers and Arthur Smith.
It's a lot of new, right?
A lot of new,
but a little new, but aging a
Yeah.
bit too with even DK and Aaron, obviously, and on the defensive side with Darius Slay and Jalen Ramsey. It's new, it's different,
right?
It's also
Experienced.
experienced.
It is.
But
it is. Those guys are smart players. They should be able to pick up that Pittsburgh defense and do all of that. But yeah, they're kind of giving us a thing of they're not all in, I want to say, for 1 year, but they certainly seem like they're making a push to drastically improve this year compared to other years.
One more team in the AFC before we move over to the NFC, and that is the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, I mean, the Cincinnati Bengals, it's not the offense, okay? That's not. I mean, yeah, sure, they could run the ball a little bit better, okay? But I'm not going to sit here and go, wait, the team that scored more 30 points games in a row than any other team ever, yeah, it's the offense. No. I mean,
it's the defense. Just what part of the defense, right?
It really,
the whole thing.
Pete just said it in my ear, and he's right. It's the entire
The Achilles heel is their defense.
A little bit. I mean, how good can it be? For a lot of the year last year, they were second to last defense in football until the very end. They ended up the 25th defense in football. So yeah, I mean that. They weren't very good at stopping the run last year. What happens there this year? Are they any better in that department? They got a new defensive coordinator.
Al Golden comes over from Notre Dame.
Yeah, who's awesome. I love him. He's a really damn good coach. They're going to have a different philosophy there. They're going to play Lou Anarumo didn't love to play man-to-man. Al Golden, as we know from the Notre Dame games, they're going to play man-to-man almost every damn play. So I'm going to take the cheap thing here, and I'm going to say the whole defense.
The entire defense.
I am going the whole defense because it goes down from the coaches to the distractions of Trey Hendrickson to distraction of Shamar Stewart and not signing him to the distraction of, Shamar Stewart's not getting to learn from the best teacher he could in Trey Hendrickson. We got questions in the secondary. Dax Hill's going to be the nickel back. DJ Turner's coming off an injury. We're going to have Jermaine Pratt not there and start a rookie in Demetrius Knight. So I think I'm pretty fair to say the whole defense on that one.
So what do you think, realistically, with them? Do you think they can figure something out here to be passable and to be
like a playoff team?
Super Bowl contending team?
The Super Bowl thing is hard for me to say right now, right?
There's too many questions. Especially with Trey Hendrickson.
Playoff team, certainly. I certainly could say that. But this is where, I hope they play, and I hope they push the envelope on the offensive side of the ball in the preseason a little bit.
Yeah.
So they can get in, hey, week one, we don't have to worry about, we're not in a slugfest against New England week one like we were. We should just put away with our awesome offensive talent and all of that, right? That's where they got to get to. Follow the money, right? We always where's the money on the team? The money's on the offense. They got to put up. They got to carry the team, and especially in this early part of the season, and that's why I hope they play a little bit in all 3 preseason games.
All right, move over to the other side. NFC, Super Bowl winning Philadelphia Eagles. You've called them a super team. If they have one Achilles heel, potentially derailing this super team, it would be what?
Complacency? I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I think there's a problem with their roster. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and go call them an all-star team on national TV and tell everybody in the world that I think they're like the most talented team I've seen in this century, let alone their offensive line rivals the Cowboys of the 90s. Like, no, I don't really have it.
Are they as close to a perfect team that we have seen in quite some time?
I think so. And you know, if I had to get into the X's and O's a little bit, like, all right, complacency and that, like, hey, we're awesome, we're the best. If just we step on the field, we're that. Okay, if you want to get to the X's and O's, is, hey, can the passing game be more explosive and consistent, right? You know, again, like, we went through a period of time last year where for a Super Bowl team, their passing offense was less than, right? I mean, I don't think anybody would argue that. It finished strong. But damn, if Jalen Hurts can play like he did in the NFC Championship game in the Super Bowl, shit, they're capable of going 16-1, 15-2. Sure, there's nothing I can look at other than that right there. Those two things: complacency, consistency in the passing game.
Yeah, I mean, they're basically running it back from last year. There's a little bit of changeover in the second string on the offensive and defensive side of the ball.
Right.
Some rookies and guys they brought in,
Yep.
but the starters are basically what they won with last year. The Washington Commanders, huge jump up last year. Jaden Daniels was awesome, but if they have an Achilles heel, it is...
They're an interesting team, right? I look at them like secondary solid, front is good. I'm not like wow. Offensive side of the ball, okay. You look at that and go, wow. I mean, the offensive line turned the corner there.
Mm-hmm.
Cliff Kingsbury did some really good things and all of that as well. I think I got to go to their Achilles heel there a little bit. I feel like this is one I've kind of been all over the place a little, I'm going to go back to the D-line a little.
Okay.
I am. I mean, I know we got Von Miller. They feel good, but like I don't know what that is. Great. Okay, Dorrance Armstrong's a good player. I got that, right? Deron Payne is by far their best player there. I think they overpaid Javon Kinlaw a little. I think that's kind of where I look at it to be. Again, it's a pretty well-orchestrated roster to where I don't look at it. You know, I was like thinking like, oh, maybe their biggest thing could be the sophomore slump, right? Do I want to do something with the Terry McLaurin contract or all that? But as I get to them and look at their roster, I feel like I always kind of come back to going, hey, their D-line's good, but I don't know if it's as up there with some of the top-notch teams in the sport. I'm not sure I'm ready to say all of that. And, yeah, I want to see what Von Miller is. I want to see what Javon – there's a reason Javon Kinlaw, this is his third team in, 4 years, right? So, yeah, I guess that's where I feel in that one a little bit
If they
more.
don't figure it out with Terry McLaurin, obviously the wide
That's the
receiver
one, too.
room
That's where
is
it's like theirs is a lot of
situation.
that type of stuff. The
Yeah.
distraction of Terry McLaurin. Are they going to – feel too confident going into a year two with Jaden Daniels thinking like, hey, we got to the NFC Championship last year. Why won't we do that again? I mean, yeah, sure, some of that stuff, but I feel like I still go back to that D-line here when I look at them.
Commanders trying to catch a perfect team in the NFC East and the Eagles. Speaking of perfect teams, my Detroit Lions, now that we're healthy on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm well. Again, another team like not going to say like the Eagles, but there's not much here.
Gosh, just tried to slip that in there.
The coordinators is a huge deal. It's a huge deal, and I still think I'd look at it and go, we know we got the pass rush, one more pass rusher, but I'm not going to put that in the category as coordinators and interior O-line, like you heard me say on Monday.
Yep.
It's a little all over the place. We don't know that. It's been such a strength for them. It's a strength. I mean, your offense has been unstoppable the last few years because the O-line has been able to just physically impose its will on anybody to where Jahmyr Gibbs is the kind of guy that could lead the NFL in rushing. I mean, Montgomery almost got 1,000 yards last year too, and he was hurt a bunch of games. Like, I mean, that it all starts with that. And then that leads to Jared Goff and the play action pass and everything there. So I'm going to say that O-line.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, see where it goes. I'd like to see another pass rusher opposite Aiden Hutchinson, but all in all, I still think there's enough size, physicality, and talent on that defense where I don't worry about it.
If they can stay healthy. Right. But I think and the Lions are in danger too if they don't have an offensive line that gels. Jared Goff is not able to operate the way he has operated in the past.
Really, really good point by you. And that's exactly right. Yeah. He's a guy that, and this is a team that's, hey, bad pass protection. Joe Burrow's got a number of years without that. It doesn't seem to be a big deal, right? Josh Allen had a few years like that. Those guys, Mahomes, Lamar, they can move, and even though the protection's not great, they can still make a lot of positives happen even with bad protection. Jared Goff is not one of the guys that I necessarily put in that category there.
From the Lions to former Lions quarterback and Ahmed Fareed's second favorite player of all time, Matthew Stafford with the Rams. His back would be one potential Achilles heel.
Yeah, his back would be one. I look at them like definitely that. Offensively, I don't know if there's any issue I really look at there. My Achilles with them would be their secondary. That would be it. And not that it's horrible. Again, this is a team, we're talking Super Bowl window for sure. Love the O-line, love the running back. Good for Kyron Williams getting the contract. The Devontae Adams addition, I think, is going to help their team. We know their front seven is pretty damn good. But when if I asked most people on the street, who's the corners, who plays in the secondary for the Rams, I think a lot of people would go, I'm not even sure.
They go, I know Quentin Lake, but outside of that, I don't know.
Yeah, right. There's not much. I mean, Cameron Kitchens, right? Cam Curl, right? The safety, but maybe be the most recognizable name there as far as who they got. Darius Williams, who was with them when they won the Super Bowl, then went to Jacksonville, then came back. Akilla Witherspoon's their other starting corner, who's been a kind of a career journeyman himself, right? And so, that's where I look at them. And they were in that Jalen Ramsey trade conversation a little bit, but I think because of that.
Yeah.
But that's what I worry about. I do they play a lot of zone, and you know me. I mean, if you got to play certain teams, if you're going to sit there and play Lamar or Josh Allen or Mahomes or Burrow, and you're going to play zone against them in the Super Bowl, I'm sorry. I don't give a shit how good your front seven is. You're not going to win the game. It's going to be too hard, and that's where I worry about them just a little bit.
All right, moving on to a couple of teams in the Lions division here. We got the Packers and Vikings back-to-back. Let's start with the Green Bay Packers. The potential Achilles heel for Green Bay would be?
I think here's one where offensively there's not much to go to. Defensively, there's not much to go to. Okay? I go it's a toss-up a little bit between me and secondary and receiver. Okay? That's kind of where I look at it. Again, Matthew Golden, we'll see how good he is. I know he's a first-round pick. They're going to feed him the ball and do that. Romeo Doubs, I mean, we've talked about their wide receiver little issues a little. Christian Watson not being there.
They got a good room. It's just can they stay healthy?
Can they stay healthy?
On the field
Can
together?
One guy totally emerge as being the second guy or being another staple, right? I think that's kind of what we're talking about here. But yeah, I think I look at that and I go back and forth between corner play. The corner play is the other part where I question them a little bit, okay? But no, I think more and more, as I just sit here and talk it out because I had a little bit of a tie, I think I'll go back to the receiver thing again.
Okay.
I will. I think that would be where I would look at it. It can't be Jaden Reed, right? The health status of them, sure, you said it right. Christian Watson's not going to be 100% to start off. Romeo Doubs, we know, has had some issues and had some issues last year too. Yep. So, yeah, I guess that's the thing I question. That and Jordan Love got to play better football than he did last year, which I'm expecting to, and that's why I'm not picking him as the Achilles heel here.
Yeah, got two wide receivers in the draft with Matthew Golden in the first round, Savion Williams in the third round. Neither of those guys you were super, super high. You were lower on both those guys than I think the rest of the draft community.
I think so, too. Right. Savion Williams, I liked him in a lot of ways. Don't get me wrong. But, yeah, I mean, he, like we talked about, I thought he was very raw.
Yeah.
Right? And Matthew Golden, I did not think he played 4.29.
Yeah.
Right. But people have been waxing poetically about his speed up there. And I know people at Texas told me he dealt with a little bit of a foot injury last year. So maybe I'm wrong, and maybe we see a guy that does have the extra rocket up his ass to say, shut your mouth, Chris Sims.
Vikings got one of the best wide receivers in the NFL as I transition to Minnesota with Justin Jefferson. Jordan Addison, though, we found out, going to be suspended for the first 3 games of the season after settling a DUI case, and so he will miss the Bears, Falcons, and Bengals game, so that makes that passing game a little more difficult for the Vikings in the beginning of the season. But what's their Achilles heel?
Well, like the obvious is the quarterback, right? You got a team that's really damn good, and it's a quarterback being a first-year starter in the NFL. I mean, that's the obvious one. And we all know that's got to not that he has to rewrite the record books or anything like that, but he's got to play solid football in that division if they want to get in the NFC playoffs and be a competitive, team that way.
Yep.
But like that's too obvious. I feel like we all know that. You didn't come here to listen to the podcast for me to tell you, first year starters, Achilles heel. To me, here's another one of the corners. I'm going to go to the corners here. This is Brian Flores. They do a lot of stuff on defense. They blitz a lot. I don't know if he necessarily wants to blitz all as much as he does and play some of the coverages he wants to behind it. In my experience with Brian Flores, whether he was in New England or Miami, if he does blitz, he might play some zone, but he's got a lot of weight. He wants to play man-to-man. Stephon Gilmore, people like that, Darrelle Revis. I mean, Brian Flores was on that New England staff. What did they do? They locked people down man-to-man. He doesn't have that, right? It's like the one part of their team where they kind of went, well, we can't pay everybody. We can't do everything. So hey, Flores, you're a really good coach, so we're going to kind of cheat on the corners.
Yeah, two new ones. Isaiah Rodgers and Jeff Okudah from Houston.
Right. I like Isaiah Rodgers. I think he does have like some chance here to be a little bit better of an island corner than people realize. He did some good things with the Eagles last year, right? He got that gambling suspension a little bit from the Colts the year before that where he missed some time in football. Jeff Okudah, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I got a whole lot of faith in that, right? So that's where it was Harrison Smith getting up there in age a little.
Harrison Smith was a first-round draft pick. Do you know when he was drafted? Do you see it? Don't look at it.
I already see it. Yeah, the 2012. Is that incredible? Right. To play safety in the NFL that long? Yeah, it's incredible at his level and all of that. But, I think man-to-man ability on the defensive side of the ball is where I look at it for Minnesota to be the one thing I'd question.
All right, 3 more teams to talk about here in the NFC. The next one, a team that plays at Raymond James Stadium.
Wow.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh.
Kristen, well done. See,
you
look
ask,
at that.
you shall receive.
Whenever she is challenged, she steps right up.
Yep.
And there we go. So now it's like we are there in the stadium.
Look at that.
Overlooking.
That's my home of homes right there. Look at that.
Good
right
memories.
around this bottom 20 or 30 yard line right there. That's where I lost my spleen, right?
Yeah.
There's the pirate ship up there where on the top left corner I ran in for a touchdown once and I threw the ball to the pirate ship and it went right where the cannon was, out.
Wow.
If you look to the left over there, there's the players' parking lot. Right?
Oh, wait,
that little
over there. Oh, that's where the players park.
No, like in the spot where there's almost like no spots there. See where there's like no spots? There's nothing drawn there. That's where the players, they kind of sneak in there. That's the players' entrance. You get in and
what is that? Tailgating then, I guess? Right behind the stadium?
Yeah, you know what? That like has been cleared out a little bit more than the years I was there. And I don't know exactly what they're doing, but that was always kind of an empty spot. And if you look over to the top left of the screen, you'll see where the Yankees play minor league baseball where the Tampa Bay Devil Rays are their home stadium right now.
I love this.
Yeah. So lots of history lessons right here. And the Buccaneers facility is just about 2 blocks to the right there. So
look at this. See, this is already paying off having the monitor right behind us.
And if you keep going down south more on, what the hell is that? Not Marbury Street, Danbury. There's a lot of strip clubs there.
Chris Sims Way?
Chris Sims Way. The strip clubs. Yeah, that's right. Which, we've always heard Tampa is kind of famous for that.
Yeah, well, that's I love that. And if you're listening to this podcast, you have no idea what we're talking about right there. But go to YouTube or go to Peacock and take a look at because it's like we are
Couldn't
in
have done
the
this
stadium
at
right
Central
now.
Park.
It was impossible to do. All right, so the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, great stadium, but if they have an Achilles heel, it is what?
I mean, they're another team that's really well built. It's one of the better O-lines in football. I think it's one of the better front sevens in football. It's a little bit like it's funny how we didn't mean it to be like this. I didn't tell Pete where I was going to go with this, but I feel like this is like the 3rd team in a row where I'm going to go receiver and DB are kind of the thing. Receiver and corner. Now receiver, listen, I know Mike Evans is going to the Hall of Fame and all that, but we're at you just talked about Harrison Smith. It's 2014 when he's drafted, right?
Yeah.
Chris Godwin coming off an injury. We drafted Emeka Egbuka in the first round. We'll see what he's about, right? So to me, it's just a little bit of the unknown there. And then the corner play. The corner play is another thing. Hey, they want to blitz there in Tampa Bay. It's Todd Bowles, and do that. Do they have the corners and McCollum and Jamal Dean that can lock down people in those situations? We know Antoine Winfield Jr. is awesome, all that, but those are the two things I question. And I think the corner play would probably be the number one thing.
Okay.
I guess I have faith that Mike Evans and Chris Godwin will come through. And Emeka Egbuka, as much as I didn't love him, I do think he's made for NFL football to play the slot. I don't think he's going to be a superstar that way, but I think it's not going to be a hard transition for him to be a part of this offense and make his name known there in Tampa Bay.
I did see a clip of Baker Mayfield talking about him. I think it was with your guy Big Cat over there with Pardon My Take, and he was very complimentary of what Emeka Egbuka can do, and to the point where I was just like, Baker's not a guy that just says stuff just to say stuff. He's got to mean that.
That's where hey, smarts, size, route running. It might not look always sexy in college football.
Yeah.
And it's some things that I have to remind myself when I evaluate sometimes to go, oh, you know what? But, being smart, being quick in a short area out of your break and having a little size, there's roles for those guys in the NFL to where you can go, wait, he can get 80 receptions a year, 90 receptions a year and be one of those guys. Let alone we know he played in a school and an offense that had some pro stuff with Chip Kelly to where you feel like, okay, he knows, he's been taught a little football, he knows what he's doing. So that's why I'll favor the corners. But, the receivers are definitely something to watch as we go forward here.
All right, Kristen, throw up Levi Stadium here, the 49ers in Santa. No, we don't have that. But 49ers, they've remade their team a little bit.
Yeah,
right. They brought back some of the guys. George Kittle's back. Didn't know if that was going to happen. So they're trying to reload. What's their Achilles heel at this point in their process?
A lot of new pieces. Love that they bring back Saleh. Love that they bring Gus Bradley in, the inventor of the Seattle 3 defense, right? There are a lot of people, I don't know if they really realize that Gus Bradley, who was with me in Tampa Bay under Monty Kiffin, went to Seattle and sold the Seattle 3 scheme to Pete Carroll when he didn't want to run a defense anything like that, right? He did not want it. He wanted to run a defense that was crazy and multiple and all that. And he's like, let me just teach you this a little bit. And all of a sudden it was like the new fad of football, right? They still got an impressive roster in a lot of ways. There's a lot of things to like. Is some new talent there and all of that. But this is clearly, for me, it's the receiver position. Clearly, right? Ricky Pearsall, what can he be? Juwan Jennings being there, right? And he's injured and wants more money. Brandon Ayuk, when's he back? And can he come back? And when he gets back, can he be like a number 1 star receiver like he's being paid for? Or that to me is it. Again, O-line's not perfect. I got that. Running back, tight end are just about perfect. D-line, there's some people there you'd go, hey, I want to see it, whatever else. But, man, there's a lot of names, depth, talent that I guess I believe in. We know the linebackers are awesome. The secondary maybe has a little something there. But why I won't put that is because I know they're not a huge man-to-man team. Right? I don't think they're going to do that anyways. They're going to play their Seattle 3 and be rooted in that. I go to the receiver thing there, and I also know my buddy Shanahan.
Yeah.
And knowing him and his offense and has a lot of rules, and the receivers have to run the same route different ways according to, the coverage and all that. And that's a big thing, and I would think that, having some dependability and some explosive people there are a little concerning to him right now.
The 49ers are the biggest head scratcher to me
so.
Because it's like they've been so successful and Shanahan has done so well that they have a huge reputation, and you see some of the betting odds for the 49ers.
Right.
I don't know if they're 3rd or 4th to make the Super Bowl out of the NFC.
It's too high, I know that.
But then you look at it's like you're riding on Brandon Ayuk coming back and being what he was, Christian McCaffrey staying healthy for a full year. And the defense, they lost Trey Greenlaw, Hufanga is gone as well. So it's just like, are they riding on reputation at this point?
A little of reputation, and like you're saying, that thin line or whatever of like, hey, I hope our 4 difference makers can stay healthy and be out there, because if they can't, we're not the type of team that's got proven depth and veteran depth quite yet. I mean, like you said, there's a lot of turnover. There's a lot of different guys everywhere, especially the defensive side of the ball. So, you look at the backup D lineman and you go, oh, man, there's a lot of new guys there, right? You got some rookies that are going to play. They signed some free agents in the secondary. So there is definitely a few questions there about the team. And I am, with you, a little surprised that they're favored in a way that they are as being like one of the 3 or 4 best teams in the NFC. I don't quite see that.
Right. One more team to talk about, the Seattle Seahawks out west there as well. New quarterback.
Yep.
Not going to play in preseason game number 1.
Yeah. Well, it's certainly not defense. That's you're not going to hear me say anything there. I mean, their defense is pretty stout, and I expect big things. Could you use another pass rusher? Sure. This is an obvious one with the offensive line. I mean, we talked about this before the draft. We talked about this after the draft. I'm hopeful. But like we've been talking about the Seahawks offensive line for 6 years now, I feel like, for the most part. They've never been able to really have a consistent run game. They are not great at protecting and any of that. They got some new people there. They got some guys that got some talent who, are getting to a point in their career where it's like, hey, Charles Cross, you got to start being a dominant left tackle, right? Abraham Lucas at right tackle. It's like, damn, you're really talented, but you got to stay out there and stay healthy. We can't have you hurt the whole year and all of that. They got the Gray Zabel from North Dakota State, who we liked in the draft and talked about. Like, I like that, but I got to see it in action. I got to see it. Receivers, people are going to maybe look at that. Cooper Kupp, that's definitely a question mark. How good is he? Is he going to stay healthy? All of that. Marquez Valdez-Scantling is another guy that you go, what's that going to be, right? Because he's kind of been a one-trick pony, deep shot guy, really. But I think that O-line, to me, is what makes or breaks this football team. They want to run the ball. They're running the Shanahan system. So it all starts with that. And if they can't do that, and then they have to depend on, Sam Darnold's going to have to throw the ball 35 times a game, and we're going to have to light up the scoreboard throwing the ball, I don't like that. I don't like that formula, right? So that's where I go to those big up front.
I like this segment because, they say hope springs eternal in preseason. Everyone is hopeful that your team can make a run. We like to bring everyone down to earth a little bit.
Well, we don't want to get too positive
This
yet.
is where it could all go wrong for your team.
Well, I feel like this is the time, right? We're going to thinking about doing X factors and like groups that might be really surprising or dominant this year.
Yeah.
Like, let's watch a little football first too. Let's see that. I mean, just so I'd like to see some games, see some teams, see if anybody pops to me that way. And also, I like this because I think for the most part, what we picked were like things that most of the home fan bases will pick to where you can go, now watch this in the preseason.
Exactly.
And let's see if they can be good in these areas, or maybe I'm wrong about what I thought was weak and they're a little bit better there.
Player
right?
steps up.
That's what I'll be looking at tomorrow night, on Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday. I just sit there. I sit there with my phone. I write notes on there. Ooh, I like the way this looks. Ooh, I like the way that guy looks. And that's how I go through the damn game.
You text your wife
Text
all
my
your
wife,
notes.
Right. She's got to do something there.
She learns more about the Seahawks offensive line than she ever thought she would.
Exactly.
All right, DraftKings has the odds to make the playoffs. Among the teams who did make the playoffs last year, who's favored, who is not? Bills looks like a slam dunk. Ravens, Chiefs over on the AFC side. Eagles, Lions, Buccaneers. Not as many slam dunks on the NFC side see there, which is interesting outside of the Eagles.
Yeah. The NFC's got, the NFC.
The 49ers are not?
They're not on that one there.
Oh, they didn't make the playoffs.
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, the AFC, like you said, it's pretty damn good. And those top teams are really damn good. Okay, and it's funny. You see the Chiefs, right? Some of the betting public obviously looks at it and goes, I'm feeling what Chris Sims might be feeling a little bit here. I don't think the AFC is going to have many newcomers in the playoff conversation, right? Right? Maybe can New England sneak in and be one of those? They'd be one team. Does Cincinnati sneak in, right? Do they replace a Pittsburgh or the Chargers or somebody like that, right? One of those two teams.
Right.
I kind of look like that. The NFC, on the other hand, though, I can see that being more up for grabs in a lot of ways. I mean, Atlanta, I think, is going to be a pain in the butt. Seattle's going to be a pain in the butt.
Bears are going to be better.
Exactly. Bears are going to be better. I think Arizona Cardinals are going to be a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
The 49ers, like we're talking about, are a team that we're talking about in the playoff conversation a little bit. Minnesota's starting a quarterback for the first time and everything there. Detroit lost 2 awesome coordinators. So, yeah, I think there's a few more question marks on that NFC, in general there.
DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. All customers can bet the NFL on DraftKings now.
Just download the app and use the promo code UNBUTTONED when you sign up.
DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. All right, I do know for a fact we are taking one more break.
We are.
At this moment.
I was ready
in
for a
time.
break like halfway through that exercise. I was like, can we split up the NFC and the AFC?
Which is what he did, which is what Pete did, and then I went rogue, and so then you had to have a monster segment. Sorry about that. How much can you believe quotes you hear in August? We'll hear a couple from last August when we come back. Welcome back to Chris Sims Unbuttoned. Final segment, Hot Take Time Machine. Well done, Pete.
So hot.
He has gone back in time a year ago, last August,
right?
And he's looked at some quotes.
Yeah.
Because we always take people at face value for their quotes. We think they know what they're talking about, right? And we should, right? But give them the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
But with 365 days of hindsight, we'll see if they came true or not, or if we should have believed them at that time. So we got 7 quotes here, Chris. You ready to go through these?
I'm ready.
All right. This first one, quote, I went to high school. Oh, we're going to try to guess who it is.
Yeah.
I went to high school. I went to college. I don't know why I said it, but I'm just saying it. I don't have a sense of urgency about getting it done. Give any reason you want.
Wow. Well,
someone who went to high school and college.
Yeah, damn, that's impressive. But I mean, I feel like, is this a quote from somebody this year? I'm going to say it's Jerry Jones. That's what I'm going to say.
It is Jerry Jones on CeeDee Lamb from last year.
Right.
Wow, well done.
Yeah, I mean, it figured. Yeah, it's again, here we go. Oh, yep, okay, great.
Yeah.
But just, rambling as usual. We'll see where it goes. And, if I'm Micah Parsons, I'm pissed off right now. I definitely am.
Yeah, he said that will he play week 1 about Micah Parsons. A big part of that is his decisions, what I know that. I'm just saying no, but I'm urgent. We will work through it or we won't work through it. So where are we? I don't know.
I don't know either.
But he doesn't know either.
But we'll see if anybody can make a play, scare the Cowboys. I mean, I don't think they're going to really trade him, but I just don't know why they make it into such a circus like they do every year.
Well, they're dominating the talk, and maybe any publicity is good publicity. Quote number 2, quote, I think we're in a great place. I think anytime you have any frustration, anytime you have any adversity that you have to overcome, it's supposed to test you. It's a matter of being on the same page.
Wow, so they said this last year.
Last August.
I'm going to say this is Nick Sirianni.
Okay.
All right, they were going.
Oh, Jalen Hurts
I'm
on Nick
fire.
Sirianni. Wow.
Okay, I'm close.
Wow.
Don't.
I mean, because that was the thing. It's crazy what a difference a year makes, right? Because it's like, man, it totally collapsed. What are they done? What's happened?
Exactly.
And here we are a year later.
Here we are going, like, can anybody beat them, right? I mean, damn, hot take time machine, or should we still call this crystal ball Sims just gets them all right? We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know if that would fit on the on our backdrop here, but we'll work on it. Quote number 3. He was a guy that was reliable, you can look to. He is going to have the juice each and every day, so definitely. You can't say that you don't miss that, but I'm very happy with what we have going on here and how hard the guys have been working. So it's talking about a guy who is no longer there, I guess.
Wow. I'm going to say this is Dan Campbell on Chauncey Gardner-Johnson.
Okay.
I'm just taking a guess. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know, but I'm wrong on this one.
Well,
Josh
Allen on Stephon Diggs.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So, yeah. So, and how much did they miss him?
Not much.
Yeah.
I mean, you see right there, Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen, they kind of were, spot on right there for what they said. Jerry Jones, not so much, but the other two, yes, spot on.
Yeah. All right. Quote number 4. I just told him, man, you're going to be real good. As a corner, you want to go against a rookie quarterback, but he's one of those guys who plays like he's developed.
So that's somebody talking about Jaden Daniel. Oh, no, that's going to be...
Or Bo Nix.
Yes, you're right. It's somebody talking about Bo Nix.
You think?
I'm
going to throw you off.
I'm going to say it's Pat Surtain talking about Bo Nix. I like what you said there. I'm going to go with you.
Sauce Gardner on Jaden Daniels.
On the
I
Jets
threw you off.
Practice,
Sorry about
right?
that.
Okay, yep. All right.
I am banned now from this game.
Well, we were close. Our thoughts were right?
Yes.
And I did say Jaden Daniels at first.
You
but
did.
Sauce was right.
That is funny how it's like you've said this to me before. It's like GMs will draft a guy, bring him out to training camp, and know within 1 or 2 practices, like, crap, we have a bust, or this guy's something.
Definitely. And that's what's impressive about that quarterback class last year.
Yeah.
And if you go through back into time, right, the really good ones, guys really talked positively about them right away, right? Like, I can remember the buzz about Mahomes in his first camp. Alex Smith was a starter, but I remember hearing from play like, oh my gosh, Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
If you remember LaShawn McCoy on Josh Allen his first year, he was literally like, this guy's going to be a star. He's like, I've never seen anybody that big run the way he does, and his arm is ridiculous, right? There's usually that kind of like, it hits you right in the face pretty quickly to go, whoa, he looks the part, he's smart as hell, and damn, the talent's real. And usually, real recognizes real, as they say on the football field.
I would love to hear a ton of stories on the flip side of that, where GMs look at a guy and just go, oh, crap, I shouldn't have taken him.
I think
you don't hear those stories.
No, you don't hear they don't hear them often, but every now and then I think it does happen, and you got to get around a real confident GM who knows, like, I'm established, and I've made mistakes. He might tell you a few of those stories behind the scenes.
Yeah,
right?
maybe a few years later, remove.
Like,
when
I can picture Sean McDermott drafting Kyer Elam, right?
Yeah.
And then I could picture them in like the third day going, our 6th-rounder Christian Benford looks better than our 1st-rounder. Oh, shit, right? It's like, yes, he's good, but it's like, oh, shit, he looks better than the guy we picked at number 28 in the draft, right?
You spin it. We found value.
Right.
Look at this value we found here.
Right.
All right, quote number 5. He's a great learner, very smart. His willingness to learn is second to none. When he does have adversity, he rises to the challenge, and that's what you want from your quarterback.
Sean Payton on Bo Nix.
Okay, I like this one.
Okay, you're gonna go Bo Nix.
Matt Eberflus on Caleb Williams.
Man, I did think about Caleb, but I wasn't sure there. And
wow.
Yeah.
He wants to learn, Pete says, but no one wanted to teach him apparently in the film session.
He's getting taught right now. That's for sure. It's a crash course.
It really sounds like it.
Well, there's no
Almost
way he's
overload.
ever been anything like this. Ben Johnson's tough, man. Ben Johnson is, like, intense. He's going to yell. He demands his coaches work hard hours. I mean, he's, what you would expect from a top-notch coach.
Yeah.
It's not picnic time. And Caleb Williams has been part of an offense that's like, for the most part of his career, last year was simple and all that. And then in the college, he was in that air raid Texas Tech offense where it's simple as can be. Let me get in the shotgun. There's only like 4 routes my guys can run, and we're just going to kind of mix them up play by play. No, now he's coming to the line of scrimmage, and he's like, whoa, Ben Johnson, I'm underneath center. He gave me 3 plays to call on the line in the huddle. I'm getting to the line of scrimmage going, what the play am I supposed to call here? And he gave me a few like, hey, audible to this if they do that and that. And so that's going to take a little time here to digest all of that.
I'm sure
stuff.
A quarterback, too, is like, are we sure we need to do all this stuff? But then it's been so successful with the Lions. How do you say that?
He'll realize we need to do it once he's like the first 2 or 3 good games he's has. He's going to go, oh, my gosh, this guy's awesome. He's a genius.
All right, 2 more quotes here. This one, quote, I definitely feel confident in going into week 1 with him as our quarterback. I feel like he's been making plays throughout training camp. I don't have any worry in my mind at all.
All right, so Caleb's gone.
Yeah.
We know it's not JJ McCarthy. Jaden Daniels is gone.
I feel like it's not a rookie. I feel like this is not a rookie. It's a coach trying to convince his fan base. Oh, maybe it is. I don't.
Maybe hold on. Maybe you're right.
I've been wrong once already.
Maybe you're right there. Let's say I definitely feel confident in going into week 1 with him as our quarterback. I feel like he's been making plays throughout training camp. Ahmed's. You know what? Like,
who would that be?
Devontae Adams on Aiden O'Connell. I don't know.
Okay, Justin Jefferson on Sam Darnold.
Wow.
So it was foreshadowing of a good thing.
You were right. You were on the right track right there.
It's like speaking to your fans, like, hey, this guy's pretty good. You gotta give him a chance.
So Justin Jefferson was right. So far, really, the players have been right. Coach and owner have been wrong.
Well, that's interesting, right?
Right.
Coach and owner are trying to will it into an existence.
Right. Not keeping it real like the players are.
All right, final one here. Quote. That's what's good when you're that obsessive about everything. When you're hurt, you can't go. But when you take every rep, every walkthrough, everything you do, you're just so deliberate and everything, that stuff does come back fast.
Okay, somebody off from an injury, obviously. Damn, is it a quarterback? Are we saying
it is a it is
it's
a coach quote.
He's saying,
obsessive when you're hurt, you can't go. But when you take every rep.
Man, I'm really not sure about this one.
Is this Aaron Rodgers coming back last year?
No. He said it's a coach and not talking about a quarterback, I don't think here. So it's somebody must have been hurt or receiver. I give up. Tell us who it is.
Kyle Shanahan on Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, I know. It didn't come back. That was crazy. That was the biggest smoke screen of all the smoke
I don't think
screens.
it was a smoke screen. I can tell you that for real.
Yeah.
Right? Straight from the coach's mouth. I think that he legitimately thought he was about to come back. And then, like we've talked about before, McCaffrey's a psycho in a good way, and I think he pushes it a little hard, and then it got set back, and then it was like, oh, I think he's coming back. Oh, he pushed it hard again, right? So I can legitimately tell you that was going on. I remember at one point last year, I mean, Shanahan flat out told me, he's like, he'll be back. We could probably play him this week, but he'll definitely be back the next week. And then like 4 days later, it was like, no, he's not going to be back yet, right? So that was the thing, and that's like back to what you said with the 49ers. Some of these older guys, them staying healthy, where are they at? He, of course, is going to be, if he stays healthy the whole year, that's their biggest piece on their offense that they really use is that chess piece to confuse, get mismatches and all that. So we'll see where that goes.
All right, you did very well with that, though.
We did all right. We did all right. It was a good team effort.
Got into the brains. Yeah,
good team effort. Who's leaving me, teammate? Who's leaving me? But we'll be back Monday nonetheless. Chris Sims Unbuttoned, and we got a lot of stuff to talk about Monday. We're going to recap preseason week 1. We got Stu Gotts coming in, okay? Yep. So we're losing some intelligence on the show because Stu Gotts is, he's not real smart, but I'm going to deal with him. He's entertaining.
An edge.
Well, he's seen a movie before. He doesn't sweat through his armpits, and he doesn't wear red pants.
He does not do that. We don't know.
I don't think he drinks energy drinks either.
Okay? See, that's my edge.
Yeah, that's your edge.
Right
that's
there.
your edge.
That's a wild card.
All right, so you know where to find us. Subscribe, rate, and review. Please come back on Monday. Enjoy the weekend, everybody. Enjoy football, a full weekend of football. And please keep sending in your thoughts on the set. We readjusted here. I think it looks pretty damn good like this. But everybody be good, be safe. Peace out, homies. Clap it up. Yo, homies, what's up? Thanks for watching Chris Sims Unbuttoned. And just because the weather's warm doesn't mean football ain't still on our brains right here.
We are still working, so smash that subscribe button. We got all the training camp news, preseason news, everything up until kickoff night.
Thanks for watching. And again, remember to hit that subscribe button. Peace out, homies.